Bonnaroo news, just the Who stage lineup is out, and for the first time, many times on Thursdays, I hardly know anything. Maybe one have I even heard of. Never have I heard of anything on the Who stage prior. And this year, I know two of them, which I'm excited about. The one we've talked at length on here, we'll get to in a second, I guess. But yeah, the official Who stage is out. And what, real quick, do you want to start with some past here? Look at some people who've been on this Who stage before, or do we want to look at that? So
let's do this. So we can go ahead and start. I don't have any other news. Do you, Russ? Anything else? Because part of the show is Brian. This is Brian's picks, and so we can start with the Who if you want to. Sounds like we're going to.
Might as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any other. I think those were the big things. So yeah, you sent a note yesterday saying you went back and looked at some of the bands that had played on the Who stage, and we always make this point. Everybody had to start somewhere. And so part of the fun of Bonnaroo for me has always been discovery. So being able to leave on a Monday and say, oh, I never heard of that band, and now they're one of my favorites type of thing.
Well,
so
yeah, and especially on Reddit, which I spend a lot more time around this time of year. It's, when it's in season, just look at what people are talking about, and you see all the old schedules that are on all the stages that we're very familiar with and go to, and you can do that and be mesmerized about just like 3 years before. I'm not talking about I need you to look at a one from 15 years ago, and you can look at one from 3 years ago and be like, wait, that was the festival we went to. It's remarkable how they do this, and maybe many others stack out that way across the country too, but I bet it's not as extensive as this as a Bonnaroo year-to-year list is. The Who stages, I mean, that is really on the small end of on the verge or on the move type buzz cuts, as we might call them back in the day. But yeah, so I rarely pay that close attention to it. Haven't they moved the Who stage more towards where the comedy area was? Am I right on that, guys?
They have, yeah.
Yeah, for people who have been there before, it used to be kind of tucked in where like Food Row was.
Like, towards an artist corner of a village kind of thing. Where like, and it's changed many times, not necessarily that one, but there's been two or three. There was a True Music Lounge for a little while, the Budweiser deal, then there was the Miller Lite Live Experience. This is not that, but it's not much bigger than what those were. I mean, this is for, hey, get some relief from the crowds and come watch a generally signed band, most times a working, everyday, hardworking band, but just to have to start somewhere, as you say. Even if you've been a band for years and years and years, that might be the place you have to start at.
And I think we learned from our friend Brad Steiner, former co-host, co-founder of the show, that some of those bands are paying their own freight to get there. So I
have heard him talk about that.
Yeah, so it's it's an opportunity for them to be to get this on their resume and to get in front of people, and we've seen a couple of great shows there. So I mean, there's no reason to go through the Who state. We can throw up the graphic, and because I can't tell you anything about a single band on here except for on Thursday the Foxies, and this isn't the official start of my picks, but the Foxies is Friends of Friends in Nashville, and might look to have them on before we get to festival weekend. We'll see. Fun, cool band that's been working for 5+ years minimum. And then of course on Saturday, who I've learned through this show, like maybe others listening have as well, the Boot Scootin' Boogie Nights. That is the Who stage on Saturday. If we already knew that was for sure where they were going to be. I thought maybe they were going to be Plaza somewhere. I wasn't sure.
They're also doing a Plaza show.
Okay, so they're double dipping. Okay, that's where I got a little confused. Like, didn't we already talk about this? But no, because no one's talked about the Who stage. And so they're on Saturday. So first time ever, I'm looking at the Who stage. I'm like, all right.
Nice.
Well, I got to do one or two of these. We'll see.
Got to go see Corey. Go say hi to Corey. Nice.
But real quick, though, so I did think, all right, let's take a look back at this. It didn't take long to find a Reddit sub that would talk about it. And I started to get it rolling, and my interest was getting piqued. And then I just kind of ran out of time, and then the sources got bad to figure out more information in this, but this is a pretty good start. So these are Who's stage performances since 2009, just kind of scattered. 2009, Portugal the Man on the freaking Who stage. And that band's been the same. It's not like it was like one guy and two guys. It's the same band you've seen now on the main stage for 20,000 people was on that stage. So that was a huge one. Walk the Moon in 2011. Had a good little run.
We've had them on the show, yeah.
Had a good little run. These don't go in order here. 2016, Maureen Morris, the country singer who played one of our now defunct festival here not too long ago and was a lot of fun. Mount Joy has made a lot of noise in the kind of alt Americana rock world. My love of my life of the last 7 years or so, Jade Bird, UK from the UK in 2018. Winona Fighter in 2022, who I know, Russ, at least you've talked about more than, or maybe both of you guys have.
Yeah, they just played Shaky Knees here Friday.
And in 2022 also, there was 3 of them here. Daniel Donato. And I only know his name because he's played here in town to some fanfare. And I was like, okay, I know the name. I've had some friends tell me to go see him, so I put him on there because I recognized him. And then our friend of the show, Flip Turn, was on the Who stage last year, or 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool dynamic to something like this in any setting. The little kids table, as they would be like appalled to hear me call it.
Yep.
You never know what you're going to see. So
the one of my favorite days ever at Bonnaroo started at the Who stage with Davey. I've told this story so many times. Our good friend Mike Dewar and Chrissy Mincy and I, we went to see Davey, and it was about 10 people, and then there was 30, and then there was 50, and the band was just so happy, and it just started a great day. And we went right from there to the Warren Treaty, where bawled my eyes out listening to Tanya and Michael, their testimony about PTSD, and just fell in love with that band. Went right from there to Mavis Staples, cried again when she talked about Pops and the civil rights movement and being there. And then we went to I'm losing his Chic. What's his name?
Chic.
Oh, I can't believe I can't think of his name. I'll think of it. Nile Rodgers. Sorry, I went brain dead.
Nile Rodgers. Yeah.
Nile Rodgers, who, went from, hey, do you guys mind if I play a couple of number one hits that I've been involved with, and did like 45 minutes of Madonna and David Bowie and Chic, and then told a story about how he had just found out he was cancer free when he thought he was literally gonna die.
It's a pretty uplifting day.
We cried.
I mean,
we cried 3 times.
This.
I looked at Mike Dewar and he said, man, I'm spent. I'm going back to camp. Anyway, it all started at the Who stage with Davey. So I'm glad you brought that up, because to me, I think that's the biggest thing I try to tell people is everybody had to start somewhere. Go see these bands you've never heard of, because you never know. You might see a Portugal the Man, and you might see him with 15 people,
Yeah, 2009 was some time ago. Sometimes it's hard. You got to start doing the math real quick in your head when you think, 09, back a little ways ago, right?
Right.
Yeah, not so much, but because they headlined or top of one of the evenings on the What stage. Was it just last year? I think it was just last year. Anyway, they're just a monster band now. So you're not going to find that a lot, but you are going to find bands that really get to that next level on stuff like this. And I don't know if the Foxies are one of them, but I want to believe it because she's really pretty.
Yeah.
And she's great, and she's a hell of a front woman. Think Paramore, but less alt emo, angry, and just a little different style, but still very fast paced. So anyway, I have some feelers out to talk to Lauren from the Fox.
Okay, and I'll also say I've always thought Bonnaroo does a great job of bringing people back. You know, you hear two different sides. Don't want to see repeats, but they've also been very good about having somebody that's on a Who stage, and then the next year they're on the Witch.
I have been such a hypocrite, back and forth, contradictory jerk on this. I get mad about the constant repeat lineups at many years, and then I find it so intriguing and a great story to hear about the trajectory of bands like Mumford and Sons and My Morning Jackets and and Black Keys and so many others that are well known and so many that we'll never have heard of that move up the ranks, and it's almost like a graduation process. And it's really neat, but then I don't want them to book the same bands all the time. Well, what is it that you want, Brian?
Yeah. Well, I think the key is, you said it, it's up. It's graduating. They don't typically go down.
Or usually even play the same stage.
Right, that's
often.
what I mean.
But they don't. They certainly don't take any. It's kind of a corporate American business kind of practice.
Right. You've earned it.
You're not going down or sideways. You're either going up or you're going nowhere.
100%.
And it's a little scary proposition, really.
100%.